Hello and welcome to the Climbing Daily Friday Gear Show. Climbing shoes. Every climber wants them, needs them, and let's be honest, lusts after them. Every year we get sent different models to test and review, and now it's time to reveal my top 3 climbing shoes for 2021. It's been tough to whittle them down to just 3, but I've managed it, and in third place is the Unparalleled Flagship. Now this is the men's version, although we have tested the low volume version with Teresa. We got this shoe back in March, so I had a whole winter of cave training and a spring of sport climbing to put these to the test. Now Unparalleled have been making big waves recently, especially on the competition scene, and top athletes like Tomoa Narasaki and Stasha Geho have begun using these models. The shoe has a split sole and it's got 3.5mm of RS or Real Supreme rubber on the front and 4.2mm of RH or Real Honor rubber on the back. RS rubber is a bit stickier and softer for toe hooking and pulling moves, and RS is stiffer for precision and those tiny little edges. It is very aggressive and downturned, has a big old toe patch over the front of the shoe and a single Velcro closure system over the top. The heel, well, that fits nice and snugly if you size it correctly. I have a feeling I went half a size too big on my test model. If I did it all again, I'd go half a size down or even maybe a size down for a really tight, aggressive bouldering fit. So where have I used this shoe? Well, mainly bouldering with some sport routes thrown in, but where it's excelled for me is cave and board sessions. I spent a lot of the winter training on my friend's 45-degree wall, and it's got tiny little chips and footholds in it. Because of the stiffness at the front and the precision, it means you can stand right up on your tiptoes to reach the furthest holds, so it's an excellent training shoe. And to further sort of benefit that training ability, it's very comfortable. Microfiber on the inside means that I keep it on for most of my sessions. Now, because of that downturned aggressive angle, I think it works best for overhanging boulders or short overhanging sport routes. It hasn't necessarily got the stiffness and support throughout the sole for longer routes. I do think it's a little bit overbuilt in places with quite a lot of material through the top of the shoe, but some of that is due to necessity because of that big toe patch. Also, I do think, as I said, I might have missized it, or perhaps my feet are just a bit too narrow. I'm looking forward to trying the low volume version to see if that sorts the problem out. So, that is my number 3 pick. Unparalleled decided to challenge the big boys of the sport with this shoe, and boy, have they achieved that. The hype is real. In second place is the Evolve Zenist, and I had high hopes for this shoe, having received, reviewed and loved the Evolve Phantom from last year. Now we reviewed this around about May time, and that was just when the gyms were reopening after COVID, and that was good because this is really aimed at the indoor market. Softness and sensitivity is the key for this shoe, as you can see, so it's going to be excellent for running up volumes. It does have some rigidity built into it though, so it's not too bad at standing on some small edges, especially indoors, although I don't think it did as well on those little rock nubbins. The heel and the toe patch have very thin rubber on it, and that does take some getting used to, especially if you're used to a thicker heel. I mean, you can see with the Unparalleled the difference just in thickness when I squeeze them. I was initially concerned that that toe patch would rub off or rip off when applied to real rock. That was my concern at the time, but having used this now for a while, there's no real sign of damage on it. It's a little bit scraped off down the front, but considering the abuse I put these shoes on, it's absolutely fine. It's certainly, in my opinion, more for the gym rats out there. I mean, I called this shoe my last indoor shoe when I got it, and that was just because it was so simple and good. Why would you need anything else? Do I stick with that opinion? Yeah, I do. That doesn't mean I won't be trying other indoor shoes, but it's hard to beat this. And it's around about 130 euros in the EpicTV shop, which is good value for something this high end. Finally, the colour scheme, and I think it looks great both for the male and the female versions. This two-tone black and white looks classy, and I like the little styling over the top of the Velcro strap. So a good looking shoe, I think. Okay, so that was number 2. Which shoe takes the crown? Well, it is the Scarpa Booststick. My feet just fit Scarpa shoes, perhaps because they're slightly narrower and the toe box and that curve of it just fits them. Everyone's feet are different, I know, but for me it works. On the sole, well, it's not split. 4mm of XS edge rubber from Vibram are on the bottom, so stiffness and support is what this shoe is all about. It just excels on micro footholds. You can put so much power down onto them. In fact, when I was climbing, I often was surprised to look down and just find out the horror of the kind of hold that I was standing on. Therefore, it is excellent at sport climbing. Because of that stiffness, because of that support, it means it stays with you throughout the length of that route. Good shoes need good rubber, and we've covered the sole, but on the toe, well, there's a big old toe patch in there, so excellent for wadgeability, as I like to call it. I use this shoe in tandem with the Scarpa Booster, which does have a split sole on the bottom, unlike this. The Booster I use for bouldering, the Booststick I use for sport climbing. And if you know anything about me, you'll know that I'm far more of a boulderer. So the fact that a sport climbing specific shoe has won my best shoe of 2021, well, that's a real testament to how good this is. It feels fun to climb with, and I trust it. It allows me to step my game up, and I feel like the shoe has got my back. I like the styling of it. Blue is best after all, and it's a good looking shoe with lots of nice little styling features throughout. Its limitations? Well, for me, it's the bouldering thing. Although Scarpa do claim that it is a bouldering shoe as well, I really think it hits more into the sport climbing market. So obviously, if you're a dedicated boulderer or perhaps an indoor climber, this isn't going to suit you as much. But that is my opinion, and it goes against Scarpa's branding. So let me know what you think down below.
That footwork though.
I sized it quite aggressively tight for sport climbing, but if you went a bit bigger on it, it would make a good all-day multi-pitch because it really supports your feet. They won't get tired when you're climbing. So there you go. This is number 1. Do you agree with my choices? What do you think of my top 3? Do let me know in the comments down below. As usual, there's links to all of the shoes we've chatted about today, and I can't wait for 2022 and all the exciting new models that we'll get to test. We'll be back then. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.